So today I decided to challenge myself by trying not to build any actual buildings. So instead I built a giant ass burrow for my Fennec foxes with a waterfall, an oasis, and yeah, I'm compensating. So fun little tidbit about this habitat. It was originally meant to be a massacre. Or actually, it was originally meant to have two animals, both the Fennec foxes and a little blue penguins, or the little blue penguins. But then I found out that Fennec foxes eat little birds and also eggs, so the little blue penguins wouldn't stand a chance. So I'm going to keep the little blue penguins for another habitat and not make it into a massacre, because even though I really want that demonetization, like it's just like a rite of passage for me, it feels like I want to get at least that like yellow symbol of like limited ads one time. I have some care about animal well-being, and having my little blue penguins not being massacred is definitely on the list of don't do that, Poison. But yeah, just a quick notifier, the Fennec foxes are a mod. I will put the link to the mod in the description like I usually do. And yes, I also forgot who made the mods. I have the memory of a goldfish. So I will put the link to the mod in the description. I don't think it was Leaf or Lion Rider, so I'm 99% sure it wasn't one of them. But then again, memory of a goldfish, so sorry to the mod maker, I forgot your name. But then the last 2 weeks have been complete chaos. But anyway, you will see throughout this build that I'm like constantly going back and forth on the water actually, because as I said, this was originally meant to have two animals, not two habitats. Brain, work with me. But it was originally meant to have two animals, but then I slowly started to realize, yeah, I don't want to murder animals for the sake of getting that demonetization thing. That might be a step too far. I will talk about murder, I will talk about brothels, I will talk about ritualistic sacrifices. I mean, that is a thing in Kayan al-Bashar. But I won't murder animals, because they are floofy. That's the only thing holding me back, floofy animals. But anyway, then I had to actually also find out, like, do Fennec foxes swim? They do. So I originally was also thinking of like, oh, maybe I can have a barrier between the little blue penguins and the Fennec foxes by having like water. Then I saw the Fennec foxes swim, and then the idea of having those two animals in one habitat just died. So anyway, also for anyone who's thinking like, oh, nice work Poison, I literally copy it. Like, it kind of always feels lazy to copy rock work to me, but then I also realized like, yeah, by this point I know, like I have a set of rock work that works, and so I just copy pieces of it because it just is faster, and I don't think anybody will really just like zoom in on the rock work and see like, hey, this piece and that piece are completely the same. So yeah, also you can make, well, no, you can't make burrows. This burrow is way too large to be realistic, but I tried to have like a burrow with like multiple chambers like they usually would have. Like, you wouldn't like have the sleeping area right at the entrance, you would have like a hallway going to a sleeping area, you would probably have like another area. There would be probably a lot of just chambers in a burrow. Don't know how it is with like Fennec foxes, but I just wanted that. I also really for quite some time was just like, alright, can the Fennec fox go through this? Can the Fennec fox go through this? Because I do know that the Fennec fox mod, it's like based on a juvenile animal, and juvenile animals are annoying because they can get through everything. Like, weirdly, when it comes to like the adult animals, their hitboxes are huge. When it comes to the juvenile animals, they are usually so tiny that they make me annoyed, because all my usual tricks of just placing one rock don't work. I now need to place 2 rocks. And yeah. it in the end did work, because this burrow so far is smaller than any other burrow that I've made. I would still like it to be smaller, but I don't know if the modders could actually change the hitboxes of animals. Yeah, not sure about that. Also, again, memory of a goldfish, so they might have said like, oh, we can't change that, or we can change that, but 1 ear in, the other ear out. I don't know if that's a term wherever you guys live, but here in the Netherlands it is, and it basically means that you're listening but also not listening. The words go in 1 ear and go out the other. But anyway, what is this video today? Anyway, I also wanted to explain basically the schedule that has been here for the last 2 weeks by basically saying I have no schedule, because I really tried to like sort of lighten the workload, because I realized that just like Frontier, I go through cycles. I start off small with a limited amount of things that I need to work on, and then throughout the year I build up a lot of work. I start streaming a lot more, I start making more videos, and so then by the end of it I am, well, let's just say before my break I was working the entire week, which isn't healthy. And if I wasn't working on a video, I was thinking about a video, because that's the dark side, in my experience at least, of content creation. Is like, actually, if you're working on a video, then you're already thinking about what you want to do for the next video. And then it's also like all the other stuff like thumbnails and description and all of that you need to think about. And then you need to think about social media, and then you go sit in a corner and cry because think you're failing, and then you... So yeah, I'm trying to find a new schedule, but also I'm just going with the flow this time, because I want to break that cycle of taking on more work than I can actually mentally manage. So there's that. So for, I would say the next couple of weeks, the schedule is going to be, there's no schedule. I also don't know when I will go back to streaming, but we will see. Maybe one day I will just get bitten by the bug again. Not that bug, not the bug that's going worldwide and is the epidemic, but just the bug of streaming again. Because I mean, I do like streaming. It's just that for some reason it also really mentally drains me, but that might be because I'm an introvert and don't get my energy from social interactions. I get my energy from sitting in a corner. Maybe crying, maybe not, preferably not, but just, you know, being on my own. So maybe that's the reason why like streaming is like a little bit more tiring for me than for any extrovert, I would say, or like less introverted person. Anyway, let's go back to the build, because it's so much fun with this. Like, as I said in the beginning of today's video, I tried to not build any buildings. I originally wanted to build a building. I wanted to basically build one of those Ethiopian churches that are basically hacked out of the ground or just carved out of the ground. Then I thought like, yeah, we have huge ass, like, not skyscrapers, but high-rises surrounding this oasis, because this oasis is supposed to be the early source of life for Kayan al-Bashar. This is where Kayan al-Bashar like grew up around, because they didn't have access to the floating islands, so they didn't have access to all the water contained within those islands. They just had this oasis, and so like I wanted to give the oasis some like religious significance. I don't know why religious was such a hard word for me to say, but then I struggle with even the easiest words. But then I also thought like, yeah, it's just looks wise, like if I make things too busy here, because the old city of Kayan al-Bashar right now, it's like for me that perfect medium where it's like, yeah, the buildings are very busy, but then you have like, well, the desert on one side where there's nothing, and then on the other end we had this oasis. So I needed to make this oasis kind of calm. Also, yeah, I just like sometimes I need to challenge myself to not build any buildings, because that's usually what my videos or my speedbuilds are. It's like a giant ass building, and then the rest of the build, like the nature wise and such, is usually 2 minutes of the video. So now was just like, yeah, let's do an entire video on nature, rock work and all of that. And also because I just, like, I want the Fennec foxes to shine in this habitat, even though they are so tiny that you barely are able to see them, but I like Fennec foxes. I mean, they tick most, if not all of the boxes. They are floofy, they are derpy because those ears are huge, and they are tiny. So it's like, it's the perfect combo. So yeah, if you find an animal that is floofy, derpy, tiny, and also potentially cute, then it usually is like on my list of favorite animals, because I am weak for a tiny adorable animal that's also potentially very floofy. And like derpy is just actually extra points. Like if it's a derpy, then it gets some extra points, then it gets an extra golden star. Also, yes, I wanted a waterfall because waterfalls make everything look better. Also in Kayan al-Bashar, it's just, I don't know, in Kayan al-Bashar a waterfall just stands out more, probably because it's in a desert, so there shouldn't be that much water. But building waterfalls, especially in Kayan al-Bashar, like in Valhalla, I don't really feel the need to build a lot of waterfalls because it's Valhalla, there's a lot of water everywhere. In Kayan al-Bashar, it's a little bit more special to have waterfalls. And also, I thought like, oh, you know, you have the farmlands above this, because the farm habitat that's now completely broken because the animals can't get through the aqueducts for whatever reason. Don't know which patch it changed or which patch changed it, because I don't really care too much about my animal well-being. Like, I care enough for them to not get massacred. I don't put like any animal that would eat another animal in the same habitat, but I also don't care enough for like to look up on them for more than like a week. After a week I'm just like, yeah, they're there. But anyway, the farmlands are basically right above this habitat, or like a little bit to the if the Oasis is going north, then it's like northeast. Yes, I think. Like, you can see the walls of the agriculture farmland section, and the water from that, because there's like irrigation and such, has to go down. Like, water always wants to go down. I could make a dirty joke there, but anyway, yeah, I have the mind of a 13-year-old, but I don't think anyone is surprised by that. I mean, I also, yeah, let's just move on. But anyway, so the water from the farmlands has to go down somewhere, and then I thought like, oh, it would be cool if it like flows through the burrow of the Fennec foxes, and it makes it look a lot more magical and whimsical and such. I also wanted to have an arch for some reason, I don't know why, but then I decided like, oh, I can actually have a very like demure and small like religious significance to this oasis by just putting some of those, what do you call them? Just those gates from the faux rocks. I always like to use these, but I can't ever really use these because they usually don't really make that much sense. But here I could, because it just looks like they were hacked out of the rock, and maybe it, like, I don't know what the religious significance is, or it's just the drainage canals from the, well, the farmlands. This video has been completely unhinged. I truly recognize that, but it's also fun when I'm truly unhinged. And it's not that late today even. Although I am hungry, so that might be the reason why I'm more unhinged. Because, well, actually, that would make me more murderous. Like, you wouldn't want a hangry Poisonblade, because then it's just like right to the stabbing. Yeah, now I'm thinking of chicken nuggets. I made homemade chicken nuggets, so I can have those. Yeah, that's also a thing that has changed. Before the break, I barely did any cooking because I was just too stressed and tired. Now I'm just like, homemade lasagna, homemade chicken nuggets. I like cooking, but also not. Like, I like when I'm actually cooking, and I look forward to it. But as soon as I'm done, I'm just like, I don't want to cook for like another week. Like, I don't want to do that because there's, well, you guys know, I don't like cleaning up. And also it's just like being in the kitchen for a long amount of time is just annoying because it's hot and like, send me to Antarctica over the Sahara any day. Anyway, what was the point of this video again? Fennec Oasis with no actual buildings. Yeah, that's basically it. But yeah, the next one will probably be the little blue penguins. Again, the Fennec foxes and the little blue penguins are mods. I don't know why I included the little blue penguins because they are not in today's video, but they will probably be in the next video, which is probably also not going to have any buildings because I have been, like, I started to challenge here with the Fennec foxes, but now I really just want really beautiful nature habitats. Like, I don't want huge builds. Also, I don't think the Elysian Fields need any large builds anymore. I think that if I can keep it like demure from this point on, I think it will look better in the end than if I build huge cathedrals and such. But anyway, that's going to be it for today's video. As I said, it was completely unhinged, but I hope you enjoyed it because I sure did. And then there's of course the like and subscribe button. Also, I just realized how unconfident that just sounded with how I enjoyed it, but I really did. It's just my laugh came out really weird. But anyway, hope you enjoyed it. There's also the notification button, but before that one starts working, I will enjoy hot weather. Anyway, that's it for today. Hope you enjoyed it, and I wish all of you a wonderful day. Bye bye.